Hello there, everyone. It is time for a conversation about New World. So, let's start off by just getting a couple questions that some people are going to have out of the way. What kind of rig I'm using? I'm using I have a Threadripper, 1950X, first gen or whatever, um, and a 1080. That's really all that matters, right? Um, so the equipment's decent, right? It's not the new stuff that's exploding or anything, but it's good enough, right? Um, I have experienced a couple potentially concerning issues regarding my setup. Um, like temperatures being higher than they should be. I don't have any software or anything to analyze, voltages or anything like that, power draw or whatever. Um, but an educated guess would say that I'm receiving the same spikes as these newer cards like the 30, 70, 80, and 90 are receiving. Otherwise, why would it just randomly get hot? Why would you know, all the fans kick in like crazy every so often, so on and so forth, right? Um, Now you'll probably notice that I upload a lot of videos of this game where there's glitches or things going wrong and stuff. And I do that because they're funny and, it's good content or whatever. Um, but it's also kind of a way for me to show that this game is still in its infancy and probably, honestly, should still be labeled as a beta and not a full release. And the reason I say that is the most important, the biggest issue, the most critical, concerning thing I have about the game is the fact that it's having hardware issues. It's causing hardwares. It's causing hardware like graphics cards and stuff to actually melt and explode. Like to it kills these components. Like that's not a good thing, like at all, under any circumstance. Another thing that I find concerning, which goes into the whole, this game's not properly built, um, is as a content creator and a streamer, sometimes you have to tell programs through Task Manager to only use certain cores. They call it setting CPU affinity for specific programs. So I could say, since I have a Threadripper, which is a 32 core part, I could say, hey, New World, you use the first 16 cores, and Streamlabs use the other 16 cores. So that way, the loads kind of spread out, right? Well, this lovely game does not let you do that. So mind you, I'm a super administrator, all that fun stuff. I'm no slouch when it comes to knowing how to work with PCs and manipulate them and all that stuff. This game will straight up not let you do it. Just it's You're not allowed to. It says you're not allowed. Permission denied, access denied. Which, as a super user, I don't even know how that's possible. So that's a thing, and it's very concerning to me, and frankly unacceptable to me. Um, you know. Um, so that's a concern. Next, there's obviously, like I said, all the glitches that I'm putting out in videos and stuff that are a concern as well. And there's a lot of them. Like at first, I didn't really notice them, but the more you play and the longer you play, you'll see them. And I think I can almost bet money that some of them are related to how the game stores things in memory. So, for example, there are plenty of times where I'll go up to like the town board of a town and I won't be able to interact with it until the silly little lights and stuff load in. Why? Why? Well, it the whatever part of the memory that's being told to be stored in or to not be stored in isn't functioning properly or not quick enough, or however they have it coded, right? I don't claim to be a game developer. I have a little bit of knowledge, but it's educated guesses type of thing. That shouldn't be happening. And then you'll have moments where there is hold that thought. And then you'll have moments where logs, trees, stuff on the ground will just be invisible, but it blocks the player's path. It would be one thing if it was like the resource nodes that aren't visible or whatever, and you can't interact with them because they're underground. That's a mostly harmless kind of bug. But when there's stuff that's physically impeding the player's traversal ability, that's a problem, especially in a game that's PvP rather focused. And this game is. I mean, at least that's what people like to say. Personally, without getting on too much of a tangent, I actually enjoy the PvE player versus environment better than the PvP, which is player versus player, a lot more. It's just I not much of a not a big fan of the PvP. Sorry, just not. And on that same against the grain thinking or whatever. I used to originally agree with the masses on this game not having mounts, but as I play this more and more, I lean more and more towards the idea and the desire to have mounts in the game. Nothing crazy, no World of Warcraft level, flying mounts or anything crazy like that, but just something, But back on to the concerns. They say this is a small developer. It's Amazon Game Studios or Amazon Games or whatever the hell it's called. And yes, this is their first MMO, but at the rate that they release updates and at the rate they essentially not fix the things that are more important is concerning. I just want to be clear. Do I recommend the game? Yes. Do I recommend the game to average Joes? Not yet. Not until they fix the performance issues, as in the, overheating and killing graphics cards and stuff, or overvolting them, whatever. But if you know how to, counter that and, allocate resources where you're able to, then sure. I run the game on low. The game looks fine on low. It looks almost identical to running the game on high. And really, what you're saving is your hardware in this case. When the game's running on high, you are damaging your hardware, period. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody else thinks. You feel free to have an argument with me in the comments below, but this game in its current state is unoptimized is putting it kindly. This game needs serious emergency work to the point where the fact that they're not communicating with the player base that they're trying to fix it, assuming they even are, which they might not be. They might just, they're not going to say that out in pub. They're not going to say that publicly. But I do find it concerning that they're not focusing directly on the things that are causing the most issues. First and foremost, they're fixing respawn bugs and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, those are important. And if they're quick fixes that they can quickly get out of, sure, fine, whatever, that's fine. I'm not saying don't fix the other problems, but when they're worried about little cosmetic things or some typos or whatever, that can be fixed later or on some intern's time or something. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to take priority over mission critical things like damaging people's hardware, stuff like that. So sure I'll be making more videos on this because I do love the game and I do hope it goes places. And I don't know what its current player count is. I'm actually going to check that right now. And this obviously fluctuates. This fluctuates depending on the time of day and stuff, but I'm having trouble pulling it up here. Why are we having technical difficulties here? Okay, so it's 3:50 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon, and there's 434,000 players playing. Now that's no slouch. That's nothing to hate on or whatever. That's a lot of people. But you got to think, if there's, let's just say there's a million, right? A million active players at all times. Well, not all times, obviously, but regularly. And I can bet money that 95% of the people do have hardware problems with the game, and they might not even realize it. There's a good chance they don't. Then that should take priority over anything. Just period. So, I don't know. I'm just frustrated with the developers, and I think more people need to speak out because, you know, like I said, I am not somebody that wants to see this game go down the drain or anything like that. But damaging components, I never thought I would see the day that a video game, a program for that matter, really, that is released to the masses, that's not, you know, malicious, you know, it's not a virus or whatever, that damages people's components, and they don't seem to care. And the thing that I find incredible, really, is there's plenty of big YouTubers. Jay's 2 cents is just the first person that comes to mind that can prove that there's these big issues with, you know, it spiking power and all that fun stuff. And, you know, for the unlucky people that had hardware fail, I don't see how they are not compensating those people, because yes, they're saying it was a manufacturing defect in these pieces of hardware, and that's fine. However, I do think Amazon is still responsible in a way. Yes, you know, these manufacturers for the most part are making it right and replacing these parts, but I think Amazon needs to be involved as well and compensate those people, and really make a public statement saying, hey, you know, we know our game's screwed up. We know it's, you know, everybody's having a good time and everything. We know there's problems, but we are genuinely working on it. And, you know, do like a development video, like showing the back end, you know, people like the developers working on this stuff, like actually working on it and talking about it and actually keeping people in the loop. Because the number one thing that people don't like the most is when the developer, the owner, or whatever of a big company or a big game or whatever is just faceless and doesn't communicate. And that's where we're at. They're just not. So I'm going to wrap the video up with that. But before you go, I will be making more videos on this. And if you guys want me to talk about anything in particular, let me know. I hold a lot of hope for this game, but they really need to work on it in a very mission critical sort of way. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.
Hello there. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, drop a like and a comment, and turn on notifications with that little bell. If you'd like to join my Discord server, you can do so by visiting the link in the description.